Romeo is a dead man. And so am I. But you know what, guys? A dead man is also a free man, a free spirit, if you will. Because what is a dead man, if not somebody who is relinquished from the laws of the living? The homogeny, convention, the norm. And as you know, your boy Passion is anything but the norm. I like my games just like I like my life. A little out there, a little weird. And if you like weird, you'll also like Suda51 and his latest game, Romeo is a Dead Man, which came out yesterday. I got to play the first 46 minutes of it the other night. It's everything I want so far from a Suda51 joint. It's fucking awesome. It's everything I expect from his style of games, which is mostly the unexpected. Now, Suda51, if you don't know the guy, he works at Grasshopper Manufacturer, small game company that puts out very low-budget, lo-fi games, usually headed or directed or written by Suda51. And his first big claim to fame, the first game that really put him on the map, was Killer 7, back in the early 2000s on the GameCube. This game had you playing as a wheelchair-bound old assassin named Harmon Smith, who also has several other assassins living in his head that are all their own individuals, men and women, that you have to swap between throughout the game. And it has you with weird on-rails gun gameplay interspersed with Resident Evil-style exploration, key hunting, and puzzle solving, and following cryptic riddles from informants all throughout the game, battling weird eccentric bosses, and all kinds of shit. Killer 7 is amazing. It has this amazing cel-shaded art style, and just a really cool story that is very surreal and very art house. And I got the chance, I was lucky enough to play it back when it first came to Steam. It sadly has never come to modern consoles. I don't know why we don't have a new port of that game for consoles, but whatever. Any way you can get your hands on it, you should. And that also brings me to my favorite Suda51 series, and my introduction to him, No More Heroes, which first started on the Wii. It was a really cool game where you play as an otaku schlub, a guy who's obsessed with otaku anime stuff, gaming stuff, pro wrestling stuff, and normally spends all of his time in his apartment doing all that stuff in the LA-inspired town of Santa Destroy, or San Diego-inspired, something like that. And the whole game revolves around this guy one day taking it upon himself, after ordering a lightsaber online, to go and join. He gets mixed up in an assassin ranking. There's a ranking or league of assassins that he has to battle his way up. It's an assassin rank. He meets this girl named Sylvia, and she gets him mixed up in this assassin ranking thing where he has to battle his way up a tier of assassins, and they're all crazy, eccentric weirdos. Think of like Metal Gear villains, but like even more over the top and colorful and eccentric and strange. And that's the kind of weirdos Travis Touchdown, our main character, otaku nerd guy, has to battle his way through. And the whole game just has you whipping ass with this lightsaber, going through bloody battle after bloody battle against these weird assassins. And in between that, you have to do very mundane jobs like a gas station attendant, mowing the lawn, or, picking up trash just to make money so you can pay for the entry fee to get into the next assassin ranking battle. And that's the premise of the game. That's No More Heroes. It's freaking weird. He has a giant Akira-style motorcycle that he rides around the city to get back and forth, kind of GTA style. It's as much a parody of gaming itself as it is about you, the player, because Travis Touchdown is literally you, the player. I mean, he is an otaku nerd gamer guy who lives in this apartment with figures and posters and shit. It's literally like a parody of you, the player, to some extent, but it's also like a parody of like the life of a gamer and how you go from your mundane jobs to make money so that you can go back to doing thrilling uh, bloody battles against exciting eccentric boss people. um, it's crazy. It's a crazy game, No More Heroes, but it's also probably one of my favorite video game comedies of all time. I think it's one of the funniest written games I've ever played. Travis Touchdown is hilarious. He's an excellent character. I love Travis Touchdown so much. He's this foul-mouthed, nerdy gamer guy that just completely runs with the idea that he's this badass assassin guy now. You know, he embraces that like it's just the coolest thing ever. You know, with all of the joy of like having a new game to play, even though this is apparently real life. And it's just really funny. Again, a parody of like the bloodlust of a gamer, you could say. But the game's dialogue is outrageous and hilarious. It's really funny. All the characters are funny. All the bosses you take on to get up the assassin ranking is really funny. And all of them are good. No More Heroes 2, No More Heroes 3. 2 is probably my least favorite, but they're all good. And the first two were on the Wii. No More Heroes 3 was a Switch exclusive, but now I think that's on PlayStation. You can actually play it on PlayStation. I think No More Heroes 3 was probably my favorite Switch game, to be honest, to this day. It's just so good. But he's also made Shadows of the Dam, which I also played. That was co-directed by the Resident Evil creator, Shinji Mikami. And that has a very Resident Evil 4 vibe, so you can definitely feel that influence. Like, the over-the-shoulder gameplay, the way the guns feel to shoot and stuff, and the pacing of it feels very RE4, but with that Suda51 craziness and dialogue. So definitely look into Shadows of the Damned if you haven't played that one. That's on PlayStation as well, and you can play it on a lot of stuff. Great time. And what's cool about Suda51's games, what makes his games special and so different from anybody else's, it's not just like the crazy weird writing and satire and humor and wacky weird characters. It's also his like visual aesthetics and how he's able to mix visual media. His games have a very punk philosophy. That especially started up with like No More Heroes. He really ran with this like punk aesthetic and punk vibe and like anything goes punk philosophy in his games, you know? He's like very art house and punk at the same time with a lot of his games. You know, a lot of people oftentimes say he's like the Quentin Tarantino of video games, and yeah, that kind of makes sense. I would say, again, the punk vibes is what separates Suda51 from, I would say, that comparison, but he's very much like that kind of oddball director who will just come up with the craziest shit, the craziest ways to present his games, and Romeo's a Dead Man, his latest release, definitely has that. The way this game mixes media and visuals and aesthetics, like, it's absolutely insane. You play as Romeo Stargazer, the main character of this game, who's a former rookie sheriff, gets attacked by a zombie. His grandpa, who is like something straight out of Back to the Future or Rick and Morty, his scientist grandfather, to save his life, just randomly shows up and injects him with something, and he's like, I'm gonna save your life. This will reanimate you, and from now on, you'll be called Dead Man. And he gets a cyborg arm that pops up out of nowhere and a cyborg head. And he's like, oh, thanks, Grandpa. What do I do with this power? And he's like, you've got to fight evil and and travel through time and space to stop your girlfriend, Juliet, who is actually the cause of all this, the zombies and everything. And she's an interdimensional space-hopping villain. Now, I know it sounds like I'm spoiling stuff here, but no, that's literally how the game starts. All of that information is doled out in the first, like, several minutes. The plot is insane, like all of Suda's games, but, like, it's very good at, like, being as unpredictable as possible. That's what I love about his games. And it's not just the characters and the story. Again, the visuals. Like, the game opens with, like, a physical diorama of, like, the town Romeo lives in, and it's literally, like, this physical diorama of a Pennsylvania town. And it's like you're getting dialogue from Romeo about where he lives and all this, and you're just seeing these physical miniature buildings, and it's like, what the fuck? This is wild. Then you get like cutscenes that are animated, and they look super anime, or you get other sequences that are like from a comic book page, and your hub, the main hub in this game, if you're like your space-time traveling spaceship, is a Super Nintendo pixelated style hub area that like you run around in a top-down perspective, like an old Metal Gear game or something. It's nuts. This game is so nuts visually. The mixed media is so crazy. I mean, I could go on forever, and I've only played the first 46 minutes, keep in mind. I'm this early in the game, and I have all this to say, you know? Should give you an idea of how wild and cool and weirdly eccentric Suda51's games are. Yet, from a gameplay perspective, his games tend to be pretty simple. Usually simple action games. Like Romeo's a Dead Man is very easy to get into if you like a basic hack and slash action game. You have a heavy and light attack with your laser sword. You have a gun you can whip out and fire. Very simple. If you've ever played any kind of third-person shooter these days. Like very simple combat. There's not even like a special parry system or counter system you have to worry about. This isn't a Souls-like. So like the gameplay is very accessible. I would say when it comes to unique, like weird gameplay, Killer 7 was as inventive as Suda was willing to get in that department. So like mechanically, this is a very simple game. You know, I fought my first boss at the end of my session the other night, and it was like really simple boss, really cool looking, really crazy, but like really simple. So like, yeah, Suda51 is amazing. His games are wild and inventive, and you should support the guy because we don't get games like this from the AAA space. You know what I mean? They're very unique. They're very different. Check out Suda51's games. A lot of them are available on other consoles. Lollipop Chainsaw, which I haven't checked out yet personally. I would like to one of these days, but that's also available on PlayStation Now, I believe. It's about a cheerleader girl that fights zombies with a chainsaw. I don't think I need to say anything else about that, do I? That sounds interesting, doesn't it? It was co-written by James Gunn, filmmaker who directed like Guardians of the Galaxy and shit, so I think that's enough of a recommendation. He's worked with Hollywood people. Give Suda a chance and buy his new game, Romeo's a Dead Man, if any of that sounds interesting to you. But yeah, a dead man is a free man and a free spirit. And if you want to be free, join Romeo on his quest to find Juliet. And until next time, you get to burning and live for the passion.